All right, welcome to week 12, Thanksgiving week. So, grinded it out and now we're ready to go. So, last week we had one of our more abysmal weeks of the season when it seemed like it was time for everyone to strike and grab some wins. We were 0 and 8 on the game side, and then on the player side, we were 5 and 3. Um, that left us at 5 and 11 for the week, right around roughly a little less than 33%. Um, but with that, um, Jamie's winning the league with 33 wins, 33 and 33 now. Stone has 28 and 29 on the win side, and I myself have 19, way behind, 19 and 32. Everyone's in the red, but that's okay. We're gonna finish out the season strong, and Jamie's still in the lead since week 2, so I'm gonna pass it to him for open mic. You got any hot takes or anything you wanna mention right off the rip?
I mean, the hottest take would just be that the Commanders suck. I just don't know what they're doing, and maybe I could have started with an apology to Tommy DeVito for talking all that trash, but I'm not going to do it because that's how bad the Commanders are. They made a guy that's living with his mom, that's a third string, second string, third string QB, never played in the NFL before, come out 200, almost 250 passing yards, throwing dimes to Saquon. I mean, the defense just doesn't look like it adjusts at all. The Giants came out going five wide, throwing immediately, and our defense did not change. And I don't know how he didn't get fired. I think maybe it's because of the short week they're playing today.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving. I'm thinking, if they suck again, which I think they will, he could get canned after this. I don't know how the owners have patience for this, because top to bottom, coach, um, defense, the offense looks okay, but it's bad. And then I feel bad for Eric Bieniemy because usually if the coach changes, they don't retain the coordinators, and he just got hired.
He
So
might be the coach though.
I hope he's the coach, but I mean, if Belichick's out there, we'll see. Um, so beyond that crappiness, I just want Thanksgiving, and I'm looking to get back on track this week.
Yeah, just to touch
uh,
on that game, like prior to
yeah,
last week, I was like picking receivers to get their yards against the Commanders, and I was like, surely the Giants don't, right? And I was like, I'm not gonna bet on this again. But I should have bet on one of the Giants receivers hitting their line, and I would have made money. So Giants are the Commanders are just terrible, defensively at least.
it
Yep.
seems like once every it shouldn't even be 5 years. It's probably more frequent for the Commanders than that. But let's say once every 3, 4, 5 years, they play a primetime game and they get beat 10-53, 7-45, or something like that. And I think that is going to happen on today. I think on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to see another one of these abysmal, abysmal games, and then everyone's going to be out of the building starting Monday and starting the big week. Um, it's definitely the short week, which is why he isn't fired, but I don't see him getting it right. Um, I didn't want to go total Commanders on mine. I was so mad last week that bad team, like, we've talked about bad quarterback play being an under, like, making the unders happen. 65% of unders hit this year. And then you talk about people not taking the points when they get it. I watched two very separate games. I watched Arizona, Texas, where they gave up 3 field goals total. They missed a field goal. They threw 3 red zone interceptions, and you sit there thinking the over is going to hit all game, and at the end it's 17-21, and they're not even close. On the other side, you watch a team like the Broncos. Every chance they had, they kicked a field goal. Boom, boom, boom. They added 15 points, and at the end of the game, they got their one touchdown and they ended up beating the Vikings. And that's the difference between being 5-5, like the Broncos, or being 2-8, like the Arizona Cardinals. Take the points, keep yourself in the games. Tired of this crap. That's all I got to say about that. And the Stone likes when they go for a fourth down, but
I don't mind
I'm
going
so-
for it. I'm just like I just watched the Texans go for it. I don't hate that, but they threw a pitch to their third string running back. I was like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
go for it, at least like keep it in C.J. Stroud's hands or give it to Devin Singletary. Like, don't pitch it to your third string running back, man.
If you're give it, to your QB on a pitch, run like the Tebow plays or the Cam Newtons. You have everyone but the QB blocking, where you got 10 guys just straight up the middle and have him jump over the pile or something.
Mhm.
Just a ridiculous play.
Yeah.
And Kareem Jackson got suspended for it.
Yeah, well,
4 games.
true.
Defender.
I just don't understand bad teams not taking the points and then looking back at the end, losing by less than a score and being like, "Oh, look at all those points we left out there." It's like that's where you
I
lose.
don't hate it all the
Yeah.
time. I think if you make that and then you score a touchdown, it changes the game enough to where it was worth it to go for it, right? Just
I
looking
just
at
think-
analytics' sake. But there's certain cases where you should take the points, and teams are not doing that. But in other cases, I think going for it is worth it.
I mean, I think the only time you go for it is when you're playing like an offense like the Eagles,
That's what I say.
the Lions, an offense you can't afford to get behind on. It used to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't look, too great on offense anymore, but that's the case where you need to go for
Yeah.
bust.
That or like you don't trust your defense at all.
Yeah, the defense can't get a stop. Someone like the Chargers. Yeah, I would just like a little bit. Like everyone's like analytics. I would love to see a little bit more detailed analytics. Like how many teams keep themselves in the game with that? That's not the winning play, but then they can have a chance to make a winning play. And I don't know if it's going that in deep or if I'll have to do that myself over the next 5 months, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, enough of that. So let's kind of pivot over into week 12. For week 12, we'll start on the game side because there should be a little bit more lines for that. Sniping this week should happen from the player props because we're doing this on Thursday. And it'll be Jamie first with 2, myself second with 2, and then Stone with 3. So, Jamie, whenever you're ready.
All right, so I'm going to preface this by also saying I went hard on the Thanksgiving Day props overall. I'm primed to have a great day today. Okay,
Sweet.
so my first pick, I'm going to go with the 49ers and the Seahawks under 44 points.
Mm.
Oh, and I did not write down the odds on that. Someone could check that for me. I'm sure it's like minus 10 or minus 15. Little stats while he's pulling that up. Primetime games are 27-8 on unders this year.
Minus 115.
Yep, minus 115. Thank you. Gino's banged up. He's questionable. If he doesn't play, I mean, that's even worse. And Kenneth Walker is doubtful. They're going to have a backup running back. All the Avengers are back for the 49ers. I just think, they get up, they stay up, they run the ball, and it's a low-scoring 49er win.
I would normally say the running back thing with Kenneth Walker is a big deal. I mean, you don't want to lose Kenneth Walker, but Charbonnet is not. He's not garbage. He's not super. He can. He's some guy. If Walker's not playing, I'll hammer hit whatever his line is because I think he could get it. But I don't like unders. I also don't like hearing all the unders.
Yeah, but like if you bet unders this season, I think you would be doing well compared to the overs.
Absolutely.
Primetime games this season is 27-8 on unders. So if you bet only, you'd be up a lot.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Yep.
So I am like this close to making this my game of the year. Even talking about it makes me feel like this pick is the pick of the year for me. I just want to.
Everybody, I want you to know there's a lot every week.
And so I'm just by saying it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this my pick of the year. There's nothing I like more than how this number is lining up. This is like of all the things I wrote. Anyway, I'm gonna take the Steelers team total over 16.5.
Oh man.
All right. So here's where we're at with this. They're projected to win. Every win they've had, they've scored at least 17 or more. So they're 6-4. They've scored over 17 or more. All 6 games they won, they're projected to win. The Bengals, out of their 10 games, have given up 16 or more to their opponents 9 times. And on top of that, I'm getting we just fired the coach that everyone thinks the problem player boost. It's like a little extra +5 for everyone's attributes. And I just think that we're going to get at least 17 points on Pittsburgh. Now, it is a little chalky at -140. Seems like that's going to move to 17. Yeah, but it just seemed like all the numbers lined up. And I think we're going to get a little boost here. I think that's a guarantee. I think that one right there is a lock. Absolutely. What do you guys think?
The over-under for last week's game, for the Pittsburgh game, was 33 points, and they missed it by 10. So that's all I got to say about that.
I don't have to say right now.
That tells me good pick. Oh man. All right. Pittsburgh team total over 16.5. Stone, you are up next.
I didn't have too many lines I like this week. But I gotta pick some, and I'm gonna go with Denver money line against the Browns at home. Denver's been on a super good streak. Sean Payne seems to be. We've talked a lot of shit about him early on, but I think he's actually starting to turn that team around. Russell Wilson's looking like he did on the Seahawks, or at least a better version than last year at least, and that was at -125 at home. I think I bet against the Browns 3 weeks in a row and lost most of them, so I think this is a week they turn it around. Turn it around.
The fade that wasn't really a fade because
Yeah.
it didn't work. But
Yeah,
Can't be. Join him.
yeah.
hmm
Maybe I should have gone the other way, but we'll see.
No, I think Denver's been figuring it out, and I'm one of the Russell Wilson haters, and you have been a lot of silence in that piece of the population. But I like it. Is that the Monday night game or the Sunday night game?
I don't know.
I think I know it's on Sunday, but I forget. All right, Jamie, you're up next. Last pick for this category.
So why I wasn't talking is because I got the Steelers money line, which I think I'm able to play. Is that
You're
okay?
able to play that, yes.
I have the Steelers money line at -130. A little chalky myself. Yes, but I agree with generally what you're saying. I don't know about the points. I just know the Steelers are going to win. No Joe Burrow, and Burrow has covered up for a lot of the Cincinnati's deficiencies. You're going to have the backup QB in, and their D wasn't great to begin with, and I don't think it's going to be good without Joe Burrow controlling the tempo. So, see the Steelers squeaking one out.
Yeah, Jake Browning's not the answer. They're going to get after him. I see some turnovers. I mean, money line's one thing. If you get a defensive touchdown, it's 17. They've won every game. They've gone over 16.5. Like I said, I think we've like that we're together on this one. Making me feel good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Telling you about.
All right. There's honorable mention, but I don't want to put too much chalk on the board this week and make it seem like I'm dogging it. And so I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to take New Orleans Saints +1 over Atlanta, -112. And the reason I picked this is the Saints are the only team in the division that have like a positive point differential from anyone there. And really I think what's really the difference maker here is the most silenced quarterback change I've ever seen by the media. All of a sudden over the week, nobody's talked about it, but they went back to Desmond Ridder. And I'm like, how is this not a bigger deal and they commute. Like, how are people not making a bigger? Maybe it's because Atlanta's just bad. But I don't think one bye week is going to make a difference. Desmond Ritter's going to come out. He's going to make some questionable accuracy passes and get maybe leads. He's definitely going to turn the ball over, whether it's a fumble or not, with that Saints defense. And I'll take the one. I don't know why I didn't just pick money line looking at it now, because one doesn't really do much for me. But Saints +1 at Atlanta. Stone?
All right. Going with the Titans -3.5 at -110. Titans are one of the only teams in the NFL to be undefeated at home. So technically they lost a home game, but that was in London, so not a home game. But actually in Tennessee they are 3-0 going against the Panthers. 3.5, I don't love it because they could just win by a field goal. But I think, I don't know, the Panthers are terrible. Titans good at home. I'll take that.
I like that.
You gotta take.
Have this.
I was
Go
looking
ahead,
at all,
Jimmy.
and it's just a whole lot of mediocre teams playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Lines are very close. This is going to be a tough game pick week, so I do not envy Stone with the 3 picks.
Speaking of mediocre teams, for my final pick, I'm gonna do the Giants +3.5 against the Patriots. The Patriots, I think, are just full tank. I think Bill Belichick. There's some rumors that there's a deal already done that he's getting traded to some team. I think he's just fully done with Mac Jones. They might throw Zappy out there, just terrible. The Giants coming off a big win. I think 3.5. I think they can do it. But I also don't like any of my picks this week, so.
So you probably win them all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I loved my picks last week, and then I lost 3 of them by one point on the spread. So we'll see how it goes.
That's why I'm surprised. That's the game I got on our other challenge, and I couldn't believe it. Out of all 15 games, I was assigned New England, New York Jets. I was like, this is the worst game.
The over-under is 33.5 or something. So it's one of those games where it could be close enough to where the spread could easily hit for the Giants, even if they lose. So the Patriots could win by a field goal, which would be fine by me.
Jamie, do you have any honorable mentions over there you wanted to add to this category before we move on?
Not for the game picks. Like I said, I looked at all these games and that's why I picked the Steelers. Okay, I think I looked at all of them and I was like, ooh. I mean, it's either the spread's too big. I took a huge spread last week, didn't pay off, and I'm looking at that. And I think we're going to get killed in Dallas. But do I want to take a 14-pointer again? Probably not. So just the lines are pretty on point, I think. And it's just a lot of games that could go either way. So it's tough pickings. I don't have any other recommendations this week.
This is one I couldn't put in because I didn't have enough picks, and also it's really, really chalky. But going back to what you're saying about Washington, Dallas's team total is 28.5. I could see them getting 40, 50, some crazy number on this team. They've given up about 400 yards or more of offense to mediocre teams over the last 3 weeks. And then Dak and this team's going to roll in here. And as much as I'm not high on Dak either, 28.5 does not seem to be undoable for that team. But that's at -150. That line will probably move just a tad. But anyway, I do think they go over that number. So let's pivot into the player picks. This should be a little bit more challenging. Not every line was out this week. So let me double check the standings for this. So my notes have Stone goes first. He'll have 3 picks. Jamie goes second. He has 4 picks. He was 2-2 last week. And then I go last with 2 picks. So Stone, whenever you're ready.
I couldn't believe this one when I looked at it. I couldn't believe it was that low odds, or good odds. But it's Micah Parsons over 0.75 sacks at -166. It's a lot. It's still a lot of chalk, but I think this is almost a guarantee with how bad the Commanders have been giving up sacks. I just think That's almost. I don't want to fully guarantee it, but like I can't see him not getting a sack against this terrible Commanders offensive line.
Especially on prime time. Now they haven't been giving up a ton of sacks recently, not a ton.
Well, and
But
Mike has been getting a ton of sacks recently.
Yeah.
That's why the line is what it is. I would say we're approaching the chalk, a little bit too much chalk. And, 140.
Ooh,
Whoa, guys.
I'm gonna draw it up to Thanksgiving week, and then hopefully next week. I'll tell you this: I'm at the not to reveal my strategy, but I'm at the point where like if I can't go better than 1-3, there's no reason to not just always take plus money. I'm like 1 week away from coming in here with just like
Yeah, get those units.
getting those units up, but yeah, we're getting pretty close. You're not gonna like where I'm going with this with something.
Look, I'm just the total. Unless you got a total that's like minus 180, then we're gonna have to have a conversation.
No, I don't have that.
All right.
I don't think. All right, Jamie, you're up.
Speaking of lines, I could not believe. I have David Montgomery over 68.5 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's at minus 115. Slow ass Molasses Eckler had 64 on 10 carries last week versus Green Bay. Green Bay is the 28th ranked rush defense. Montgomery had 76 yards versus the Bears, which they're the number 2 rush defense in the NFL. I from a stats perspective, it just seems like it should play out. If he gets 10 carries, he should easily hit this line. It's going to be a division game. I expect it to be close, just like we talked about. If it's close, you got room to run the ball.
His carries numbers were kind of, I don't want to say high. I was looking at like 13.5, 14.5. If he got that, he should go over this line for sure. Now the under on that was favorited a little bit, but yeah, I like that. Gibbs had some weird numbers there too, so it seems like they're planning on running it.
That, and I expect Detroit's offense to bounce back. I mean, they won the game last week, but wasn't great. 3 interceptions by Goff, so I think it'll be a little cleaner, or at least run the ball more.
Yeah, it's almost like the best one to win because you should have lost. Now everyone's hyped up, and then if you just have a regular game, things start feeling a little bit better. But so I didn't have Parsons over 7.5 sacks, and the reason for that is because what I was looking at had him at 0.5 sacks, and that number was minus 250, and I was like, I can't touch that. Then that would be the chalk monster, yeah. But I found another one that I liked even more, and so I have Aiden Hutchinson over 0.25 sacks at minus 150. Now it's a chalk, but he had a great game last week. He's having a great season again. 0.25 does not scare me. You can get a half sack here. And that was at minus 150, which was better odds than Parsons. This is why I picked this one over the other one. Haven't hit a sack bet all year on the pod, and we got 2 out here, so maybe we can get one.
Sack City, I would say I need to correct you on something. He's not having a great year. I think he has 3 sacks through 10 games. But 1.5 of those sacks came against Green Bay and Jordan Love the last time they played. So
it just seems like every time I turn it on, they're talking about him.
He got a big play last week.
Maybe it's the hype.
He got a big play last week.
All right, so now we'll go.
Back to
who did I say was first? Back to Stone. Yep.
All right. Sticking with this this Lions trend, I guess we're going with. You mentioned Gibbs line. I'm gonna go with Jahmyr Gibbs over 79.5 rushing and receiving yards. I think he's been stepping up. They've been giving them the ball more. I think Montgomery and Gibbs can both hit their lines. Green Bay gives up a ton of rushing yards, and I think they're starting to use Gibbs a lot more too. So I think a big game from the Lions rushing game.
I had this one on my notes. I had it at minus 125. Is that what you got at this morning, or was it different?
Minus 125.
Okay. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
The offense tear it up. And just a correction on Hutchinson, he has 5.5 sacks, not 3.
Oh, that's a good place to be. He also, when you see his face, he doesn't look like he like on the field. You'd think he would like. Anyway, that's not a point. Go ahead, Jamie.
You see his face. Okay.
He looks much younger than like how he plays. Like, they showed a picture of him with the game ball, and I was like, that can't be the guy. Guy's barely in. That guy's barely in college. Anyway, go ahead, Jamie.
I am going to go with. I'm just like running back chalking it. Christian
Nice.
over 74.5 rushing yards.
I had that one written down. That was my next pick.
Minus 115. Seattle's 30th in the rush defense in their last 3. I think they're 19th overall, but their last 3 they're giving it up. And I touched on Geno being banged up and Kenneth Walker being doubtful. That offense is banged up. The Avengers are back. I think the 49ers are going to kill them. At least have the game in control and just run the ball, make it easy.
I like it. The next one, I don't feel bad for doing it because that's the name of the game. But I've been hearing every week someone's been telling me that the Commanders give up a lot of passing yards and they get a lot of receiving yards to wide receivers. So I went in there, I looked at the receiving numbers, and the one that seemed to be the most reasonable was Brandon Cooks over 39.5. So Cooks 39.5 receiving, and that was at last night. It was at minus 134. It's moved this morning down to minus 130, so I don't feel nearly as bad about picking it.
Well, I think the yard went up because this is something I looked at. I thought it was 7.5.
Oh, you know what, Jamie? You're right. My notes here say it was 36.5 last night. That was probably at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. And then this morning it's at 39.5 at 1:30. Still love it. Have no idea who's going to guard this guy because they can't guard anybody. So, big play guy. I know he's getting older, but he gets his targets. He gets his receptions. He contributes to the game in a quiet manner. And I will say that I haven't spent really any time watching the Cowboys because I hate them, but I will today, and I think that number does not scare me for a wide receiver against the Commanders.
Yeah, I looked at this line. Like I said, he's gone over 40 yards in 3 of his last 4, so this is good. I like this pick. I think we should be, based on what the Eagles did to us and some of the other bigger wide receivers, we should be, shading a safety over on the CD, double team him, just stop him from getting 100 yards. So I expect Brandon Cooks to be open.
I'm just looking at this line on DK, and it is 36.5 at minus 125. So I don't know if you want to take that line instead, but I'm looking at the odds right now. If you want to take 3 yards and minus 125. But,
no, I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna keep it. I can't keep it.
Hey,
that's too much. I don't have that many notes.
When he gets 38 yards, it'll be funny, but whatever.
Minus 125? Don't you have minus 130?
Yeah, it's on DK right now. I'm looking at it right now. It's 36.5 at minus 125.
Connor, you're getting better odds for lower yardage. You gotta take that.
Just take it.
I'm taking Brandon Cooks.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not even Cooks. The same player.
It is.
It is Cooks. I'm telling you, it's the same player.
I thought you said DK Metcalf.
No, on DK DraftKings.
Oh. Yeah, I'll take that. Give me that. See, this is why I'm a loser because my book sucks. No, I'm kidding. 37.5.
36.5 for minus 125.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. I thought you were referring to a totally different player trying to talk me out of it. I was I don't even have that in my notes anymore. Watch it actually get 38 and me have absolutely been just distraught.
Yeah. For better odds and less than 3 yards. I'm going back to I'm taking CeeDee Lamb 90.5.
Yeah.
Even if they bring the safety, it doesn't matter. CD and Dak have been crushing it the past few weeks. 90.5. I think he just keeps going off at minus 125. And even if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, whatever. But I don't know. I think the Commanders' offense will actually keep it closer, and I think they'll try and stay in the game longer. And Dak will have to throw to CeeDee Lamb more. And even if they're blowing him out, we saw a couple weeks ago, they kept Dak in there just to like run the
Mhm.
score up against the Giants, division opponent. You want to beat him bad. So either way, I think you can get this line pretty easy.
You gotta be out there on Thanksgiving Day against the Commanders, who you hate, with a new owner, new everything. You could change the trajectory of their franchise for real today. They're gonna
Everyone's
destroy
watching.
this team.
Everyone's watching.
This is
I think I think Sam Howell and the Commanders' offense will keep it close at least for
Yeah.
a couple quarters. Their offenses look decent, and the closer the game, the more Dak's gonna be throwing it, and they're just gonna try. They're gonna try and run up the score.
Yep, I agree.
That's great for all the receivers on the Cowboys.
I don't
So-
have the exact odds right now, but there
Mhm.
is a on DraftKings of CD having 40 yards in each half. I think it's like a huge value. So you can
40
find,
yards on each half.
yeah, in each half.
Yep. Let me put that
Recommend-
down.
Yeah. Also, like honorable mention, I would take the over on 48 points. The Cowboys could score 48 by themselves.
Oh, you mean 28?
48. The over
No,
under
he's-
is 48.
Oh,
I
on
said
the
the
game.
Cowboys
yeah,
could score
yeah.
48
Mhm.
by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah,
listen,
okay.
listen.
I can't listen. There's too
Clearly.
much going on. You think when I look at, I'd have any thoughts when I see all the lines? No, all the thoughts are gone. It's just,
It's just vibe,
all right.
Right.
Yeah, just vibe. It's all feels.
not
All right.
vibe. I'm going to go with Jalen Warren over 48.5 rushing yards, and that's at minus 110. Getting back to that Steelers game that we talked about, Cincinnati is still crappy against the run. They are 31st against the run. They're going to be playing a backup QB. I think this game is either going to be close or the Steelers are going to have it in hand. Jalen Warren had 100 yards last week. I think this is kind of a Gibbs situation where the Steelers didn't quite know what they had. They thought he's, a third down scat back, but now they're starting to see, he's a legitimate weapon, and I think they're going to start giving him more carries. Honestly, I think some of it is they can't admit that they drafted a bad player, Najee. You just can't just give up on him that easy. But I expect it to, I think it's shifting in his favor. So
Mhm.
good line there.
I like it. Who you
Uh,
get the last one?
Yeah. And I really want to include a commander here.
Oh,
because
crazy. Hold on. Can I guess who it is?
Go ahead, guess.
Is it Logan Thomas?
I thought about it, but
Oh, damn it.
but Sam Howell,
Mhm.
over 24.5 completions. That's at minus 120. All of his passing, or well, at least the completions and the attempts were so far below. I mean, the last 4 games, he's averaging 45 attempts and completions. So if they're getting killed, which I think they will be, they're going to throw it 50 times. And if he completes half of it, I mean, that's 25 right there. Adding to this, anytime he's had under 75 QBR, which he had last game because it was terrible, he's bounced back with a 98 or better QBR. So he's a guy that bounces back. I think he's going to come out and ball. And if he balls, I think he has more than 24 completions.
You get this just with EB being the coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter what the game is. They throw the ball more than anybody. It's
That's
insane.
why league and passing yards.
All right.
So for some honorable mentions, like I said, I have Howell's passing yards. It was 252. I did have Logan Thomas on here, but did 36.5 receiving yards. And then my final one would be Mostert with A-Chain looking questionable. I don't, McDaniels came out. He did not sound confident about them playing him on Black Friday, short week. Jets have the 30th rush defense. They're going to be starting a third stringer. So I think that's a good one. If I had a fifth pick, that's the one I would have taken.
I was looking at that too. I like that.
Did you have any honorable mentions, Stone?
Just the Mostert one. I like that one, and then I got sniped by Jamie on the McCaffrey one. I think he's gonna crush that.
Yeah. I only had one other one in my notes, which was Chase Young over 0.25 sacks at -120. I think him not being the guy that has to do all the damage opens things up for him. He's been playing well since he's been in San Francisco. You got a little banged up Geno. If he gets his hands on someone, he gets a half sack, which is doable. He'll hit his season total over, and then he'll also hit that line. It's at -120. If I had a third, that's where I would have gone with the third. Try to lock in that future and lock in, that bet. But I think we got a really good ticket this week. I like a lot of what we
All
got
but one
here.
of our player picks will be done today.
Yeah, I think that's the disadvantage of the Thanksgiving because you can't really get a whole lot of other games out there yet.
I mean, the lines were out there. For me, I mean, like I did this morning. For me, I wanted to have it Thanksgiving. I'm going to be watching all these games. It just gives me something extra to root for. I'm going to lean over to my great uncle and be like, "Yo, I have Jaylen Warren for 48 yards." Well, he's not playing today, but you get what I'm saying.
The one. All right.
Look at that. He's got 23, man. We just need 2 more. It'll be a good time.
It'll be a good time. I'll be by myself eating buffalo chicken, and I can't wait to just get as many lines as possible. Like feast week, just getting lines. Anyway, that's not what I meant. What I meant was gambling. That's what I meant. Anyway, let's before that gets clipped, let's kind of go back over here to the last thing of the week, which is a touchdown. I didn't really truly update it from last week. I'll double check on everything for that, so I can't give too many stats. Fell behind on the short week, but who wants to go first for the touchdown parlay this week?
I'll go. I'll just start. Jamie mentioned it with Mostert. Can't believe he hasn't been picked yet, but Raheem Mostert at -130 for a touchdown, especially with Achane out. The Jets give up to the running backs compared to the wide receivers, and Dolphins are going to score somehow.
Yeah, hasn't been picked. As I picked him a couple times just as player prop touchdowns.
Yep.
And I think that was why I haven't picked him yet. But I like it.
I like it too.
I'm going to go second. I'm going to go with. I don't want to chalk it up with Jaylen Warren. We'll go with Charbonnet at +130 versus 49ers. I'm thinking he gets maybe a crap time touchdown, garbage time.
I love that. I'm going to be all over him today. He's a good player. He's a good player. He had a lot of love at UCLA.
Yeah, it's something I forgot. 3.5 receptions for him was line 2. That was another player prop that was looking good.
So I'm going to go in a different direction from Jamie with this and kind of piggyback off what he said. I'm actually going to go Najee Harris for a touchdown at +170. I don't think he's a bad player. I think you look back, it goes back to what I was saying about the Steelers. You look back and there was a game where they won at the end, and then they started saying they were playing more free, which is a weird thing. Yeah, the George Pickens a couple weeks ago, which was weird. Talking, Najee Harris was talking last week. There's just been this rumblings of just how bad the offensive coordinator was. That's at least what it seems like. And it seems like the players have been getting the end of that stick. They're fed up with it. And I think that Harris, after talking all that smack, should probably score a touchdown this game.
It would be really funny if the whoever the new player caller is comes out and just benches Harris because he's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think the player? I don't know. I think he's a crappier, slower, smaller Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's like 2023 Derrick Henry, not like prime Derrick Henry. I think some of it's offensive coordinator, but a lot of it's the players. I mean, Kenny Pickett is garbage. Najee Harris is not a good starting running back. His offensive line doesn't help, but I would say I do like this pick. I was looking at Jaylen Warren for this same thing, but I think Najee's the once they get close.
Yeah, only you can get lucky and he can just fall in the end zone at the 1 yard line. And I think they would give it to Harris just because he's bigger than Warren in that situation. But the only problem is the Steelers' offense has to get to the 1 yard line, which is I don't know about that.
See if it's the coordinator. I don't think it is. Did anyone see that wide open pass they schemed for Pickens that Kenny Pickett couldn't see? I mean, he was wide open for a game-winning touchdown versus the Browns and just missed it.
The Quentin Johnson really let me down last week. Except you made me think of that by saying drop wide open. Anyway, Warren's was plus 179, so you could actually get a little bit fatter odds on Warren, but he scored last week, so I was thinking maybe not every week. Going back to it, I don't think Najee's bad. I think what he was saying is right. I think when he's out there, they're more predictable. They seem to run similar plays. They seem to do the same. When Warren's out there, it seems to be extended playbook, doing a little bit different things. Warren is definitely faster. He's definitely football faster. And I'm not saying Najee is the answer or like the future, but I don't think he's as bad as what he's being made out to look like. And I think that after saying all that and being in that position and then them firing the offensive coordinator, if you really don't make a statement here, that's it. That's over. You are going to get benched.
I mean, going to that, there's a reason why the playbook isn't open. You can't split out Najee out wide and throw him a slant. It's not going to work. He's not a receiving. He's slow for a starter. It's tough to make your offense, unpredictable when you got a guy with concrete shoes on your backfield.
We're going to find out this week when they score over 16.5. All right. That's what we're going to do. All right. And that's my pick of the year. All right. That's it. Pick of the year. Anybody have anything else they want to add before we close it up for the holiday?
Just enjoy time with your family, boys. Except for you, Con.
Yeah.
You enjoy that
I got all my dogs here. I'm gonna do something fun. Yeah. Gamble responsibly. Happy Thanksgiving. Should have enough lines out there for these games to be kind of playing all weekend. Should be a fun weekend. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.